What's up, people of YouTube? Just wanted to make a video kind of explaining my experience with doing Uber in 2023, doing it full time. Just gonna give you I just want to talk about why I started doing it, why I left my 9 to 5 to do Uber full time, the good things about the app, the bad things, the things that I'm looking forward to, and what are maybe like my future plans with doing Uber, and and what my goals are, for 2023 doing this full time. And if it's something that I'm going to be doing throughout the entirety of 2023, I'm still not sure yet. I still haven't fully determined that yet. But yeah, let's just start talking about it. Let's get into it. So I'm first gonna talk about why I kind of left my 9 to 5, why I decided to do Uber full time. Before this, I was working at a surgical center. I was working at I was doing reception work, front desk work, and taking patients, a whole bunch of different tasks that were being done, and honestly, working with people like your coworkers, it's not bad, I didn't feel bad or anything like that working there, but it was kind of stressing, sometimes patients would get mad at you because they were waiting long, or they were complaining about a lot of different things, and a lot of the day-to-day was just really it would get kind of stressing because there was always something else that needed to be done. There was always something that was either wrong, or hey, we got to talk about this, or we got to have a meeting about this because this was incorrect or that was incorrect, and this and that, and in reality, the job was a job that had to be done with maybe 4 or 5 people had to be doing that job, and it was only me and another person that were doing all the tasks and stuff like that. So it was really stressing. And honestly, what I was getting paid compared to the amount of stress I had to deal with, it just didn't equate for me. I'm I'd rather do something where I'm not stressing out, where I'm just where it can be much more flexible, and where I can where I don't have to be overly mentally taxed, you know what I mean? So I decided, hey, you know what, I had been doing Uber during the week, after work and stuff like that. I would do a couple hours and stuff like that. I would drive during the weekends, and I was hey, I'm making a pretty good amount, doing this throughout the week and over the weekend. Maybe I should just do this full time, And so towards the end of December, I had put in my 2 weeks early December. My last day was the week prior to or 2 weeks prior to the new year. And yeah, ever since then I've been doing Uber. This is now my second of real official full-time week doing Uber full time. And I don't want to just say Uber, because I also do Lyft as well. I try to use both apps, and I did download some other apps that I'll probably mention and I'll talk about here, and let you guys know about how my experience with those have been. But yeah, so no, so I've been doing Uber since then. And I mean, I'm still in the kind of discovering phase, what's the best times to drive, still trying to figure out my market, still trying to figure out what's the what are the best times to maximize my profit, and try to figure out what's the best times that I don't have to be maybe going out, being out as much or working as long, but still making the most money. I'm still trying to figure those things out, So I'm just gonna talk about first some of the things that I do like about the app. So some things I do like about like ride sharing, like Uber, Lyft, and stuff like that is flexible. You know, you're your own boss. You can decide when you want to drive. You can decide when you want to go out, when you want to do a ride, when you don't want to drive. If you want to do that ride, if you don't want to do that, you know, you're your own boss. You know, and so in that terms, you kind of have to be accountable to yourself. You kind of have to, you know, it's really all dependent on you. Depending on how much you want to make really starts and ends with you, you know. Personally, my goal in a week, it's I'm trying to hit 2,000. I haven't really hit 2,000 in a week yet, you know. But I'm working towards that. I'm still trying to figure things out, and I'm still working towards that, you know. But that's just my goal. You know, everybody has different goals. Everyone has different standards and things like that. And everybody can kind of figure that out for themselves, you know. But yeah, no, what I've liked is, you know, definitely the flexibility. I'm not as stressed, you know. I'm not like overly stressed about, okay, this, I need to worry about this, you know, like it's nothing like that. You know, I'm driving, I'm picking somebody up, dropping them off, you know, having a nice conversation with them if they want to talk, meeting new people, things like that. And it's for me, I mean, personally, I feel relaxed doing it. You know, I don't feel like I'm overly taxing, you know. I mean, physically it does get a little tiring when after you work like 10 hours or 11 hours, which have reached. Like I've worked like 11 hours in a day, and it is get taxing, you know. It does get taxing, you know. You do get a little bit tired, but you know, you can make that up by resting and stuff like that, and whatnot. So yeah, so those are some of the good things, you know. Those are some of the good things about the app. Now some of the bad things and some of the things that I'm not too fond of and stuff like that is that just as it is very flexible, and just as, you know, it's very, you know, really dependent on you, there are some things that are not in your control. Like, you know, you're not guaranteed. For example, last week driving from Monday until this Sunday, I made $1,500, which for me is actually, personally for me, is pretty good, because when I was working at my other job, my 9 to 5, I was only making like $1,200 after every 2 weeks. Like not even every week. I was making that after every 2 weeks. And in 1 week, I made $1,500. The reason why I say like there's a bad thing about that is because that's not guaranteed, you know. I worked 60 hours to get to 1,500, but there's no guarantee that this week that I'm going to be working Uber or Lyft, I'm going to make it in another 60 hours, I'm guaranteed another $1,500. It can be a really slow week where I can work 60 hours but only make like 900, maybe $800, and working all that time and only making that amount of money, you'll probably get discouraged, and you'll probably be like, well, you know, it's not worth it for me and stuff like that. So that's kind of a bad thing, you know. And I mean, in terms of Uber does offer like some incentives. Like they do have the like they call them quests, where it's like, if you, let's say like you complete 50 rides, we'll give you an additional like $100. Or if you complete an extra 90 rides, we'll give you an extra X amount of money, you know. So they have quests like that, but again, those aren't guaranteed. Even in the terms, you know, they tell you that quests and bonuses and stuff like that, they're not guaranteed, and it's up to Uber's discretion if they offer those or not, you know what I mean. And a good portion of the money that I make is from quests and bonuses that Uber offers. So if they're not offering those bonuses and those incentives, then really it probably won't be that good of a week, to be quite frank, you know what I mean. let's see what else. So some also, yeah, so like just like there's some good passengers that you meet that's positive, there's also the negative where you meet some pretty bad passengers that are rude, or that don't really respect your car, or your like your space and stuff like that you kind of deal with, and you don't know how those people are until after you pick them up, until after you're already in the car with them, you know what I mean? So there's always that aspect as well that's kind of bad, you know what I mean? Now what I've been trying to figure out, because like how I mentioned, that I am also trying to work with other apps and stuff like that, like I also have Lyft, I have Amazon Flex, I have Instacart, I have all these different apps downloaded as well, because you don't want to put your eggs all in one basket, and I don't want to just fully rely just on Uber and Lyft and the ride sharing, because like I said, these apps are very unpredictable. You don't know, like a week from now, if they decide, hey, there's no more bonuses, there's no more like we're just gonna give you, just you do the rides and stuff like that, that could really tank your earnings, you know what I mean? So in terms of like the other apps, I haven't really been doing too many other apps. I did download an app called Freight. I did an order for Freight, which was like a 9-mile trip. The total thing was probably like 13 minutes of work. Just had to deliver some car parts to a mechanic nearby. For 9 miles, made like $30. It's not bad, so stuff like that is pretty good. Also, like when it's slower, like when it's slower throughout the day, I'm trying to determine to see if I do maybe like a shift on Amazon Flex, where I'll do some deliveries for Amazon Flex while it's slower throughout the day, and that way I can make the difference that I need for that day. Because in a day, my goal is to try to make at least like anywhere from $250 to $280. That's my goal for the day. If I make that for the day, that's my goal. That's where I end off, Sometimes I mean, for the most part, like this past week, I really haven't been hitting that. And it's because, I had personal things I had to take care of, or things that, like, now that I'm flexible with my time, now like you have family members that think, oh, well, he's, now that he's not locked into his job, we can ask him to do everything, which at the same time, like, yes, it's, you do have that flexibility, but it also, like I said, it also comes down to you, how much you want to make for that week and things like that. But when things come up. So that's that. But yeah, no, in terms of the other apps, so in terms of like apps like Amazon Flex, Instacart, and stuff like that, I downloaded Instacart. I haven't done one yet, but I have seen that you could make a good amount doing Instacart as well. If they offer a good bonus and the shoppers tip you can make a pretty good amount. But like I said, tips are also, that's also not guaranteed. It's not guaranteed money. But I'm still trying, like I said, I'm still trying to figure things out. I'm still trying to see what's the best part for the course, to try to hit my daily goal. And well, something else that I also kind of wanted to mention about the ride sharing space. Even though you're doing this, you're not really, me, from what I've noticed, in ride sharing, like picking people up and just doing the ride sharing portion, a lot of people don't really tip. Just gonna be upfront. A lot of people don't tip, and that might be because, you know, Uber is probably charging these people like an arm and a leg for the ride, and they're probably thinking, oh well, you know, the driver's probably gonna get a good amount of that, which is not the case, you know. So from what I've noticed and from my experience in the ride sharing, a lot of people don't really tip, you know. Even doing Uber Eats, like I'm getting like 50% of people that tip and 50% of people that don't tip. And Uber Eats pays a lot less than doing ride sharing. Like an Uber Eats order can be like $3, $4, and without tip, you know, that's really little. You know what I mean? So there's that. In terms of what's my like longevity with these apps and what I'm trying to do with these apps, to be frank, for me, you know, I'm doing this full time at the moment because, you know, I'm seeing that as of right now it's profitable for me to do this full time. Yes, have to sacrifice a little bit more time, not have as much downtime, but for me at the moment, I'm making more than what I was working a 9 to 5, overly stressed and, you know, having my headspace everywhere, you know, and kind of like all over the place. Whereas to this, I'm more calm, I'm more relaxed, I'm not overly stressed and stuff like that. And I mean, for the moment, it's going good for me. You know what I mean? But just being frank, like these gig apps, it's not something for you to be doing like 5-10 years down the road. You know, these apps are more like for you to like grow into something and eventually to get enough, to make enough where you can like grow upon something else, or maybe from this start your own business, or from this, you know, start your own thing. And that's what I'm trying to, you know, figure out and try to do. I'm trying to like see if, you know, from these gig apps and stuff like that, I can grow my own business, or, you know, like make enough money where I can start learning some new skills, new things that I can implement to grow upon, you know. So at the moment I am doing this full time, but you know, if once I reach that goal, once I reach my limit, or if I see that it's really not profitable enough anymore for me to do this, I'm most likely going to try to look for other things to make my money, you know, to make my main amount of money. And so yeah, I mean, overall for me at the moment, you know, I'm still, like I said, I am still pretty new to this. You know, this is like my second week doing it like full time. So I'm still kind of figuring things out. But I feel, you know, for me right now, this is I'm good at the moment right now doing this full time, you know. What I was going to say besides that, let's see what else to touch upon. I mean, I really feel like that's it as of right now. You know, I don't really have too much to say as of for right now, because like I said, I am still pretty new to this. I'll most likely be doing like more videos about my progress and things like that, and how things are going, just to see, you know, or you know, like you guys can let me know, like in the comments or anything, let me know if you want to see more videos of this, like about how my progress is going, how things are like moving along, if you guys want to see that, you know. And so in terms of this channel, because I haven't really posted anything since I made like that video trying to figure out what I was gonna do. I'm gonna have this channel kind of as my experience doing this, like doing the gig economy stuff like that. I have another channel that is like for like gameplay and stuff like that, but I don't really have much time to be playing a lot of games, so I haven't really been posting on that channel either, because I'm gonna be obviously like busy doing this. But yeah, no, I mean, definitely leave a comment, like, comment, subscribe if you want to see more content like this. I'm open up to suggestions or any questions that you guys might have. You can just leave it down below, and yeah, I'll be checking it from time to time, and I hope to see you guys in the next video. See ya.